everyone, it's Foxx from modelmaking.guru here. Hello, and welcome back. Yes, it's been a while. Welcome back to the Fanhome 1/8 scale Dodge Charger RT from the Fast and Furious films. Partwork build. Yes, welcome back. It's been a while. Unfortunately, real life has gotten in the way over the last few months, and I've got massively backlogged in everything, including this partwork. This is a video, not a live stream, because I've got 5 packs to get through, and frankly I don't have the time during the day at the moment to do a big long live stream like that, so it's going to be a video. If you're not familiar with this, as you can see, it's a big model of a Dodge Charger. This is a partwork from my very good friends at Fanhome. If you don't know what that is or who they are or anything like that, here's a quick video. So now you know. Now I do have to say before we get going, a big massive thank you to the folks at Fanhome. They are providing me with this partwork free of charge, at no cost to me, gratis. They don't have any say in the creative process, of course, it's all my own words, but they do send this to me free of charge, so in the interest of full disclosure, I do like to tell you that. And there'll be a little marking in the corner of the screen to let you know as well. But yes, so here we are, it's the partwork. The way this basically works is that each month you get a pack, you get like 4 issues in each pack, and each issue will contain not just the instructions to build that particular bit itself, but also lots of lore about, in this case, the film. They have lots of lore about Dodge themselves and the history of the cars and other cars, muscle cars, and also information about street racing and modding cars, all about bushings. I'll just say that again, bushings. Yes, so you get 4 issues each month, and with those you can get all the parts for that bit you need to do. Now, the way we're going to do this today, because I've got such a big backlog, like I say, I would normally just live stream this, but it's not really feasible. And I don't really want to have a 32-hour video because I've got 5 packs, it's 20 issues. I'm going to time-lapse film the actual buildy part. But don't panic, it's not going to be 20 minutes of just time-lapse and background music. I'm going to pop in after each pack has been built and let you know how I've got on, any thoughts I've got, anything I've encountered during that part of the build, and let you know where we're up to. But the actual building part itself, I'm just going to crack on and get it done because we are so limited for time. Now, one last thing before we get going. You'll see me using various screwdrivers and tools and little storage boxes and a big squishy mat on the table here to protect the paintwork. All of those things are available on my Amazon store in various guises, so there are links in the description below this video for all that kind of goodness. And as well, if you're interested in this partwork or any other Fanhome partworks, there'll be a link in the description as well for Fanhome. And last of all, if you like what you see, do consider becoming a patron and supporting the channel at patreon.com/modelmakingguru, or you can simply join the channel and become a member and get all the perks of being a member as well by pressing join underneath any of my video content. But without further ado, I shall shut up. I've probably forgotten to tell you something, but I'll come back and tell you in a bit. I will crack on now and get the first pack done, and that's going to be issues 79 to 82. We're getting quite close to the end. I think once I've finished, only a couple more packs to do after that, and wait for those to arrive. So 79 to 82. Let's get cracking. I'll try and put down some interesting tunes from the YouTube music library, or my own stuff. I'll put some interesting music down. Anyway, shut up, Fox. Let's crack on. Okay, so that is issues 79 to 82 done. I've not got the body over because I'm going to keep the camera here because we're going to carry on with the door in a moment. But yes, we put the rear side fenders, what do you call them, side fenders, whatever, the side panels, the rear side panels on the bodywork. So that's both side panels done now, and we've got the frame on the front. It's getting really heavy. And we've started to build the driver's side door. Now, I will say, it was all fairly straightforward, but my God, I had such trouble getting some of those screws in. I've lost so many, I dropped so many screws, not because of any design problems, but purely because they were in really fiddly places. Some of those like back rear panels, they were in really fiddly places. And a few of the screws, you have like a hole in some panelling there, and then there's a long empty bit, and then the actual thing the screw goes into. So you have to put the screw in, push it all the way through, and then it goes into its hole. And the number of times, like, the screw just popped out again. There's actually a screw stuck in there now. There's a screw stuck in the interior body panel somewhere. It's rattling around. I can't get it out. Yeah. So, yeah, I pinged a few screws. But it was fine. It all went together perfectly. It was just a bit fiddly getting my hands around, as you probably saw. We started the door. I did have a lot of trouble getting the mirror part of the mirror here to actually screw into the arm that the mirror sits on. You basically have a piece like that, and then there's a screw goes in and screws it into the arm. It's a CM screw, which is a metal screw, and it's going into a plastic tube, and the plastic tube is barely big enough to hold the screw, and it goes in so far and then just stops. But the mirror is still wobbling around, so you really have to keep like pulling the screw out, putting it back in again, and just adding a little bit of extra pressure every time to get that screw to thread its way in. So it can be quite tricky. Don't force it too much. I did scrape a little bit of the plating off there, but I can fix that. It will go in eventually and lock the actual mirror dish into place. If you're just struggling completely and you can't get that screw to go in far enough to lock that mirror plate in place, the dish, or if you don't want to damage the actual arm, you could theoretically put a bit of super glue in there once you've got the screw in as far as you're comfortable with, and just then glue that mirror dish in place, and that would work just as well. Don't use too much, but it would lock it in place. You might have a little bit of a gap and it would look a bit weird, but you know, do sort of pull it out and push it in. It sounds a bit rude, that, but you know, screw it in, thread it back a bit, screw it a bit further, and just keep going with it. If you find the screw isn't working at all, as I did with the first one, the one that came with this, you should still have a big sort of stash of CM screws, because they're one of the most common screws. So if you're having any trouble with that screw and it's just not threading at all, just get rid of it, go and get one of your other old CM screws, give them a try. But it will go in eventually, and you won't damage it, hopefully. You watch when I do the next, or I'll probably destroy it. But yes, that's that done. So we will now crack on with the next 4 issues, which will of course be issues 83, 84, 85 and 86, and I think we're carrying on with the door. We might be doing a bit of the trunk, I'm not sure. So I'll go and crack on and we'll do the next 4. And there we have it. That is issues 83, 4, 5 and 6, and as you can see it's coming along quite nicely. Nothing really to report on this one. It all went together quite nicely. You do get a rather natty little tiny screwdriver. Now when you get these part works each month, every now and then, I mean the first one you get a screwdriver, but over the course of the part work I've got about 7 of these little screwdrivers, and I kept wondering why they keep giving you different screwdrivers. They're all different sizes. Every now and then they'll give you a screwdriver that's for that specific issue if it's got a tiny screw. Now this one is the size of a grain of rice. It's brilliant. It's not really the size of a grain of rice. I'm talking rubbish. This one's tiny and it's really designed for the little silver screws that go in here and that one that goes into the quarter pane there. Except you don't really need it. I just used that one, which is from a different issue, and it was fine. So it's nice that you got it. It'll come in handy for little tiny screws. You will gather lots of screwdrivers in this part work. So you can see that's come together nicely. We've got the quarter pane there, which has the awesome opening action. It's quite nice. I thought that'd be a lot more fiddly to put together, but it went together easily. We've put a bit more around the framing. There are sadly, as a model maker, it pains me. There are sadly quite a few little nub marks. I don't know if you'll see on camera here, but there's a few nub marks in the chrome plated or the Meki plated parts. Yeah, you can't really do much about those. There's no way to repaint over plated chrome parts without making it look like absolute garbage. So your only option will be to clean up that knob and then strip all the chrome plating off and completely repaint it. That might be your thing, to repaint this entire build, but if you're just building it as it comes, yeah, you're not going to do that. Got the frame in there, and that's eventually going to sit on there like that, and you start to get a feel for the door. And it's funny because you never think of car doors being exceptionally thick and weighty, but they are. It looks really thick and heavy now, but you don't think of car doors being big, thick, heavy things, but they are. So that's coming together quite nicely. I say nothing to really to report, no major problems. I don't think, I can't remember. If there were, I've forgotten already. So all fairly straightforward. Just when you are building the doors, of course, be exceptionally careful about your metals, your trim pieces and your wing mirror. Well, I say wing mirror, it's a door mirror, that you don't snap them off when it's on the desk. This is why I've got this building mat. Link in the description below my video for my Amazon store. I don't think I've got a link for this. Anyway, whatever. I think it's Partworks Accessories, the website, partworkaccessories.co.uk or something. I can't remember. I'll put a link in the description below the video, and I'll put a link up here if I remember. Yeah, I've got this so that A, it doesn't scratch up the paint, but also, so if I do press down it by accident, it's not initially going to break anything, or at least I'll have to push down pretty hard to break stuff. So do be careful with these trim pieces. They are exceptionally delicate and you can break them with your face. The only tricky bit I had was putting this thing, you might have seen me, I don't know, struggling to get this in. It's not clear in the instructions which way round that's supposed to go, the little door hinge. You can see that bit, that's brilliant, that bit pushes in, look. It's a little spring-loaded nub. It's supposed to go that way. It's not immediately clear from the instructions which way it's supposed to go. Once you get it the right way around, it goes in dead easily, but if you don't get it the right way, it's quite fiddly. I do worry about the fact it's a little plastic thing on there for the door latch. It would have been better if it was metal, but hey, because I can see that snapping at some point and then the door won't close properly, but never mind. Anyway, that's that done. So that's episodes 83, 4, 5 and 6, I think. So I shall go off and order some dinner now because I'm starving. Order myself some food, and then when we come back, we'll carry on with 87, 88, 89 and 90, which is, I think that's what we're doing. We're getting really close to the end now. Now, we're not going to finish today because there's 1 or 2 more packs to come after that I haven't had yet, so yes. I assume we're still working on the door. What I'll do, by the way, when it comes to building the other door, when we finish this door, it probably goes to the next. I've not checked it. It'll probably say, right, now build the other door. I won't film that bit because there's no point filming me building a door that I've just shown you. So there you go. Anyway, right, shut up, Fox. Go and order your dinner. Might have curry. Lamb biryani. With butter naan. That'd be nice. Right, I'll go and have my dinner. Go and order my dinner. When we come back, we'll do the next 4 packs, if unless it's another door. Bye! quick interjection just to show you that bit. I've built the window mechanism. So you've got the turny handle here, and look. How cool is that? You turn the handle, and through the mechanism cogulatory inside there, it goes up and down. Now it only goes down halfway on mine. I don't know if it's supposed to go further. It kind of sticks halfway, and I don't want to force it because they're only little plastic cogs, and the more you do it, it's going to wear the cogs down. So I'm not going to force it. It only goes halfway, that's fine. One thing I did notice on mine, there is like a mark. I don't know if you'll see it. You'll see it just there. There's like a scuff on the plastic. At first I thought it was just a fingerprint, so I tried buffing it off. It didn't go away. It didn't come off, so I thought, well, maybe it's like it's some sort of something that's got on it in the production process or something, or a very light scratch. So I got some alcohol and just cleaned it with a cotton bud. You might see me doing that in the fast forward. But that didn't remove it either, so it looks like it's literally some kind of scuff on the window. Now, it's a bit of a shame, but I'm not really bothered. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I can put the window down and it's not quite as noticeable. It's not the end of the world, but it's a shame. But it's not... Which way am I going now? There you go. It's a shame that it's there, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not really that fussed. But yes. So hopefully yours won't have that. You may find... you may have noticed it took a little while to get this built. It's not because it's complicated or anything like that. It goes together really well. It's just a bit fiddly. It's kind of a three-hand job, getting some of the cogs and stuff to line up and the handle to stay in place. One little handy tip when you're putting the window into place, it's very loose and wobbly when you put it together, when you put this side on. If you find this side doesn't fit properly, you have to make sure that the pane of glass is between the two sides of this piece of frame here and between the two sides of that frame. Now you don't screw that frame together until the end, but this one you've already attached it all, so you need to make sure it goes into the channel that's down between the two sides of the frame there, and then it will fit and work properly. So it's supposed to be flippy floppy until you put it all together. So there we go. Now I've got to hang the next step is hanging the door on the frame, so I'll do that now on camera, and then once that's done I just have to make the next 2 or 3 issues are just making the other door. So I'm not going to film those because you've already watched me hanging, building the door. So I'll set the camera back, I'll get the door hung, and then I'll just jump ahead and get the other door built, and then we'll crack on with the next lot. So let's go and get this thing hung onto the chassis, onto the body shell, sorry, and then we'll see what's next. Right, so that is the door hung. Hanged. By the way, I do apologise that you can't really see it. It's black. It's a black car, and it's impossible to light black in the same way it's impossible to light silver. And when it's black and silver, you just see black. Anyway, I digress. Yes, that is the door now attached. Now, if you've ever hung a door on a real car, you will know it's not as simple as you think. It's a door, 2 hinges and 2 screws. On a real car, it's 2 or 4 bolts you put in, but it's the same principle. It's 2 hinges. You put the door in, you bolt the hinge in place. Done. Your door is in, right? No. If when you do this, you may not have this problem, but when I put the door in, nice and flush, all locked in, put the screws in tight as you can go, and the door went like that. The bottom stuck out. Because there's some play with the screws, as there are on bolts of a real car hinge. As you put the screw in, it pushes the door out that way, it pushes it in that way, up that way. So what you might have seen me doing in the time lapse possibly is just fiddling and fettling with the screws to make sure that the door fits reasonably flush. At first the bottom was sticking out, so what I've ended up with is I've got this door now. It's actually very loose. If you look, it's got a lot of play in that direction. It's not the end of the world because those screws probably aren't going to come out. It's probably fairly sturdy, and once I've built this in, I'm not going to be opening and closing the door anyway. I might tighten them a little bit more, but the advantage is it means that door now fits flush. If I tighten that bottom one anymore, the bottom starts to stick out, and if I tighten the top one anymore, the top pushes in, so the whole thing just squishes that way. So ideally what you'd do is you'd do all the hanging of the door before you put the interior on it, because then you can adjust the inside screws that hold the hinges on as well, but you can't do that. So, or at least you can't do it now. I've built it all. So I might fettle with it a bit more, but that's basically the door now attached. Quick little addendum. After I finished filming that last bit, I fiddled with this door a bit more and I wasn't happy because this corner wasn't fitting flush at all. It was sticking out a bit. And what I figured out was, if I had the top hinge, I know you can't see it, it's all black, and filming black things is a nightmare because it's all darkness, so I appreciate you can't see it. If I had that hinge really loose and that hinge tight, the door fit flush, pretty much. But that's not really acceptable. So what I did was I got some bog standard plastic card, or pla plate if you're a Gunpla modeller, cut a piece that fits exactly into the recess where the hinge goes, unscrewed the hinge, popped the hinge out, put the plastic card into the recess, put the hinge back in, screwed it through, pushed the screw through the plastic plate, plastic card, and what it did was it acted as a riser. So the hinge now sits like 1/2 mil higher than it was, but by having the plastic card in there, it's now firmly in place and it's nice and firm. So it can be firm whilst also being a little bit further out than it was. And what it means is the door's now fairly firm. It's got a little bit of play to it, but not much. But more importantly, it sits a lot more flush. Now there's still a little bit of sticky outness, but I must admit that my metal plate for my door is also slightly misshapen. There's a slight gap between the plastic interior panel and then the metal plate. It just sticks out a little bit proud. So there's not really much I can do with that. I could add maybe a little bit more plastic in there, another very thin shiv of plastic, a little riser might help. But yeah, if you're having problems with the bottom of the door sticking out and you can't quite balance it, if you tighten that fully, that'll stick out, and if you do that fully, just try some plastic shivs. Box standard plastic card. There you go. Right, I'll go and get the other door done and attached, and then we'll crack on. Back in a minute. And with that done, that's the door complete, and it almost brings us to the end of issue 94. We're nearly there now. So this went together beautifully, no problems at all. I actually figured something out about the other door, I'll tell you in a second. Went together perfectly, fits like a glove. There were no little shims required for the hinges on this because it fits beautifully. I can only assume on the other door that because the metal part of the other door was slightly, ever so slightly, like 1/8 of a millimetre out of shape, slightly wonky, that put the hinge out. So that little shim on the other one worked perfectly. And I noticed I kept saying shiv on that last section. I don't know why I kept saying shiv. I meant shim. I've never been to prison. I don't know why I'd say shiv. So yes, this one fits perfectly, opens and closes like a dream, no fussing required for this one. Now, I noticed on the other door something when I built this, and I understood why I had a problem with the other door. So let me turn this round and I'll tell you. I need to turn this round anyway. But if you remember, I couldn't get the window to open and close fully. Now, it was doing my head in because when I built the other door, it opened and closed perfectly. And what I realised was, looking at the other door and how it went together, and then looking at this door on this side, I realised that the handle that opens and closes the window wasn't sitting flush with the door liner. It was sticking out a little bit. And when I built the other door, I realised what you have to do is you assemble the cog assembly and you get the handle in there and you build all the stuff around it, and then you have to really firmly push that door, the winding handle in, and it kind of clicks into place. It plops into place and sits flush with the door liner. If you don't do that, it sticks out and the cogs don't quite line up, and that's why the window was sticking halfway. It was slipping after a certain amount of turning. So now what I did was took it all apart, took the door completely apart. It took like half a minute. Took the door completely apart, rebuilt all the cog assembly, made sure the handle was pushed all the way in. I actually had to file the handle bit goes into the plastic cog, into a little hole, little D-shaped hole. It was a bit too small, so I just filed around the edges of it to widen it a little bit, pushed the handle in all the way, and now the window opens and closes all the way properly. Yeah, well, it goes that far down. So there you go. So I'm glad I took that apart. It was bugging me, and I wasn't going to, and I thought, no, I bet I had. So if you have any fit issues, like I say, with the door, if the door's not sitting flush, try little plastic card shims, just thin ones, to reposition the hinge. If your windows aren't fully closing, or fully opening I should say, then what you need to do is just make sure that handle is seated all the way in, and if it needs a little bit of filing on the hole it goes into inside in the cog assembly, just do that to make it sit properly. So there we go. Now, there's only a couple of little bits left to do in issue 94, and that's attach these two to the front. However, while I've been filming this, the next pack has turned up, 95 to 98. So I was going to finish after this bit, but what I'll do, I'll get this bit done, and then we'll do issue 95 to 98 and get them done, and then we'll call it quits. So I think that's mostly like the trunk and the front wings, I think. I'm not sure yet, I've not had a look. So we'll get that done anyway. Now, issue 94 concludes with these two brackets that need to go on the frame, around the engine bay. We've also got loads of extra parts here, and as you can see, these are going to be lights for the wings, for the front wings. So we need to put these to one side, and I will do that now. Put that there. So all we need to do here is attach these two parts. I'll see if I can get this in shot. Let me get this back a bit. There we go. These two parts, clunk, need to go onto these parts of the frame. So I need to make sure I get the right one. Put my lenses on so I can see. We have 94F goes on here, so that's going to be that one. That will sit there, and this one is going to sit there like that, I think. Yes, and that's just 4 AM screws. So this bit you're going to get to see live and alive, and not pre-recorded, it's fast forwarded. So let me get 4 AM screws. I've not got the actual screws out of the pack because I didn't want to open that pack of screws if I needed them for something else in that next pack when we do the wing. So I thought I'll leave them in the pack, in the bag. I've got millions of AM screws anyway that we've had for ages, so I can use these for. So let me get these in. So we need 4 of these. They should be fairly straightforward, he says, knowing that nothing is ever fairly straightforward in partworks. So 4 AM screws, that's going to sit in there. I'll just loosely put this in for the moment. I may change to a different screwdriver because this head might be a bit small and I haven't got the other ones to hand. Apologies, all you're seeing is the back of my hand. So that's going to go on there. I'll tighten it up in a minute. Let's try a different screwdriver. That one's a bit small. Let's try that one. This might be better. Now for the other side. Yeah, that's bigger. So I'm just going to stand up and get these two in. There we go. And it's going to be the same on the other side. So I can't really quite reach over there, so I'll go and put the other side on. So once these are on, these two, this side and there, that concludes issue 94. So I'll go and get that done now because I can't quite get past the camera. And then once I've done that, I'll get out issues 95 to 98 and we'll get them done. And then when we come back, we'll have finished and we'll get the episode concluded. So leave that with me. The next bit you'll see is me working through issues 95 to 98. Bonus content, yes, bonus free content. Free content, it's free content anyway. Anyway, let's crack on. Okay, so with that done, that's issue 98 complete, and we are up to date. Everything now done. We've only got, I think, 12 issues left before we are finished, so we're nearly there. As you see, I had to cut the video and the time-lapse a little bit when I was doing these front wing panels, because one of them didn't fit very well, or it fit really well, but it was a nightmare to get in place. And the one thing I have noticed with these panels, it's not a fault with the panel, it's an issue coming back to this door that didn't fit very well. If you remember, if I can get that door open, I had to realign this door to get it to fit because this was slightly misshapen. When this wing went on, what I found is it's a very tight fit here and it's actually contacting the door. So you're going to get a bit of friction between the edge of the panel and the edge of the door. So I'm going to be really resisting the urge to open this door lots and lots because it's going to take the paint off the trim, off the edge there if I keep opening and closing that. So I think this fits fine. I think it's because the door is slightly that way, but when I was trying to get it to fit, I was very restricted in what I can actually do because the screw has got to go into the screw hole. The only thing I could change was the height of it, so to get it to fit here. So the issues with this door continue. Again, I think it's because it's slightly out of shape. It's not. Yours is probably fine if you're building this. I think it's just because mine's slightly warped at the bottom ever so slightly that it's affecting that. But the other side is absolutely perfect. So we got those on. Everything went well. Issue 98 was very strange because they sent you the trunk lid and then they get you to do the hood. Hooray! Now, word of warning about the hood. It's quite frustrating that you have to take it all apart. That you did this, I think, in the first issue or the second issue, you built the hood. This was like the first or second video I did. And you built the hood. And now you've got to take it all apart again to get the latch in, the hood latch. Kind of annoying, but hey, doesn't really matter. And you have to put these two clear bits in. Now, if somebody can tell me what these clear bits are, I'd love to know. I don't know. Is it an indicator so the driver can see whether he's indicating left or right? I don't understand why you'd have a light pointing back towards the driver, but I don't know. Maybe it's something. Somebody can tell me what those lights are for. I didn't even know that was a thing on a Charger hood, because you only ever see a Charger hood from that angle. You never see it from the driver's point of view, so I didn't know they were there. Be careful with these clear parts though. When I was putting the screws in and knocking the camera, this one cracked ever so slightly, so you've got to be really gentle with these screws. It's got a crack. It's not broken, it'll stay in place, but it's split down the middle. It's got a little bit of a crack. You'll never notice it, but just be careful when you're attaching those. But yeah, so we've done the hood. Not completed, but it's there. I did try loosely fitting this, and then really panicked because it didn't seem to fit at all. The latch was in the wrong place, and the little restraint things didn't sit up, and I'm like, oh god, it's all going to go wrong. And then I realised, of course, I've not actually properly attached the body shell yet. This is just loosely sitting on the frame, so on the chassis. So yeah, that's not even on yet, Fox, properly. Just stop panicking. I mean, I hope when it comes to the body on properly, it does all fit, but we shall wait and see. Fingers crossed. Never let it be said that things can't go wrong at the last minute when it comes to my projects. Oh, they can. But we hope it won't. But that is us up to date now. We're up to issue 98. 12 more to go, so I shall let them all turn up over the next few weeks, and when they've all arrived, we'll get the last lot done. Oh, one other thing. This windscreen wiper, this is really tightly fitted into the little hole. It's not going to come off. This one, you might have seen, I put a little bit of blue tack on the end. I'll probably eventually glue it, because this one just pops straight out. It's not a tight fit at all. So when you're building this, when this is finished, I might put a little bit of CA glue on that and just push it in. Then it's permanently fixed then, so just keep an eye on that if you're building this. If yours is a bit loose, I've just put some blue tack in there for now, so it doesn't fall off and I don't lose it. Anyway, that's going to do us. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a quick blast through the build. No real major problems, like I said, apart from the door, and that's kind of it really, but we'll see how you get on with yours. Anyway, that's enough waffle from me. Big, massive thank you to the guys at Fanhome, as always, for sending me this part work each month. As I've said before, they're providing it to me free of charge at no cost, so big thank you to them. They have no say in the creative process, but they are providing this to me so I can film it. So big, massive thank you to them. And big thank you, of course, to all my supporters, my patrons and channel members who keep this channel alive. If you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru and become a patron, or you can press join under the video to become a channel member. Either way, you'll get access to the free Zoom 24/7 hangout and loads of other bits and bobs. And now I'm going to put this away again, and I'll crack on with the Ford GT40X, the D'Agostini Ford GT40. And then once that's done, I'll get Iron Man filmed. And once that's done, we'll get back to doing some painting, some model painting. I've got all things I need to finish painting and filming, so yes, we'll get back to that. So stay tuned for the next video in the next few coming days, hopefully. Again, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go be awesome. Go build something awesome. And untext next. Coffee. Oh. Until next time, get my words out. Adios, amoebas. Glove noises. Glove noises. Microphone's up there, you see. It's glove. I'll stop now.